The card counter was pretty good, and while I hesitate to call it great, there's a lot about it I still rather enjoy. Ever since I saw First Reformed in theaters and it became my second favorite film of that year, I've had a lot of interest in Paul Schrader and the films he's written and directed. This film, like First Reformed, has a very angelic, soft look to its cinematography, which is far from surprising, seeing Andrew Dinan's name attached to both films. The flashback scenes with the 360-degree camera in Guantanamo Bay were positively terrifying. I love the distress, the terror, and the trauma these short scenes were able to convey in the film. I really appreciate the effort that must have gone into lighting and constructing the images we are being presented. It is absolute visual candy to my eyes. Our main character is very distinctive of Paul Schrader, here in the form of one of Oscar Isaac's best acting performances. Believe me, it is beyond refreshing to see Oscar Isaac in a non-Star Wars movie after 5-some years. Our main character embarks on a very solid Paul Schrader-y character arc. However, that is not a bad thing remotely. At this point in his career, Schrader has taken great pains to refine his storytelling craft to absolute perfection, so the runtime of this film just ended up breezing by. I was shocked to find Schrader's religious overtones turned down to undertones, which only became apparent to me during the film's final shot. On my way back to my dorm room from the theater, I found myself reflecting on the film and finding the concepts and religious imagery delightfully subtle, but still obviously fully realized. I also loved the restraint shown during the particularly bloody and gory parts of the story, and while it could be budgetary, I still think it worked out very well. As for some minor problems I had with the film, Sheridan is unquestionably the weakest link of this film in terms of acting performance. There were more than a couple times where I found myself taken out of the film by a wooden line reading. Also, I couldn't help but feel Tiffany Haddish's character could have used a little more development than just feeling like a love interest. I also felt that the text that popped up on the screen occasionally to further explain the gambling concepts and principles the main character was conveying to us through dialogue were rather redundant. Ultimately, they weren't even particularly consistent throughout the film, so I think the best choice would have just been to cut them out entirely. All that being said, I do think the card counter works as a compelling character drama. While maybe not something you should rush out to see immediately, I think it's at least worth giving a look. I'd give it a 7 out of 10, I guess.